What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to my classroom and to today's video. As you can see on the whiteboard, I have some fantastic news to kickstart this video. My student Federico recently found out on Tuesday, to be exact, that he got a 110 on his first TOEFL test. So congratulations, Federico. All I did for you, honestly, I don't know if you know this, but all I did for you was steer you in the right direction. You already had everything in you. You already had enough English fluency to get 110 on the TOEFL exam. So all of the credit goes to you, Federico, okay? But you and I both know that you can definitely score higher than 110. So let's take care of that unfinished business, all right? Okay, now let's get into today's video, which is going to be covering task 5 and task 6. All right. Now, before I turn on the conversation for today's task 5 question, I want you guys to look at the whiteboard and copy the note-taking diagram, okay? If you are a first-time viewer, please go to my channel, click the videos tab or the playlist tab, and watch the first task 5 video that I uploaded, just so that you know what to expect in my sample response, my note-taking process, and my problem-solving approach, okay? All right, here's the conversation.
Listen to a conversation and take notes.
What's the hurry?
Oh, I'm going to pick up my cousin at the airport. She'll be here for the weekend.
That sounds nice.
Not really. I mean, it is, but I've got a minor problem. She wants to go to school here and major in art. I'd love to give her a campus tour myself, but I've got to work all day Saturday.
Oh, I see your problem. Why don't you just have her take the tour offered by the university? You can go to work and she can still learn all about the university and its different programs.
That's a possibility, but the tour is too general. I was hoping to show her around the art department personally to give her some more detailed information.
I see. Then, well, why don't you just show her around campus yourself on Sunday? You can take all the time you need to explain everything to her.
Yes, I suppose I could do that, but the problem is I've already made arrangements with my friends to go to a football game. I'll be there all day long. I can't let my friends down, can I?
Okay. All right, now, hopefully, as soon as the conversation is over, you know exactly which solution to pick. Now, for this problem, I'm going to pick the second solution because okay, so in this situation, the man is worried about his cousin, right? He doesn't want to pick the first solution because the campus tour offered by the university is too general, okay? And the downside of the second solution is that he already made arrangements to go to a football game with his friends on Sunday. Now, if the man didn't care for his cousin in the get-go, I don't think that this would have been a problem. So that's why I'm picking the second solution, okay? Now, for this question, we're not going to be able to say because grades are very crucial for university students, since this has nothing to do with a student's GPA or performance in class. For this question, I'm going to say getting detailed information is very crucial for his cousin, all right? And that's exactly why I'm choosing to show his cousin the campus on Sunday, okay? All right, now let's go over the notes on the board. So the man has a problem because his cousin wants to go to his school, but he cannot give her a campus tour. The man's cousin was a girl, okay? Now the first solution is having his cousin take the tour offered by the university. It's a mouthful, but we really don't have a choice. The second solution is showing her the campus on Sunday. Now, we're not going to need this over here because we're picking the second solution. The upside of the second solution is the man will be able to explain everything to his cousin. Now, the downside of this solution is the tour offered by the university is too general and doesn't provide detailed information. Now, the downside of our solution is he already made arrangements to go to a football game with his friends on Sunday. Okay, now that we know exactly what we're going to say, let's listen to my sample response. All right, listen very carefully, guys. Lip sync along with my sample response if possible. The man is in between a rock and a hard place because his cousin wants to go to his school, but he doesn't have time to give her a campus tour. Fortunately, he can choose from two possible solutions, which are having his cousin take the tour offered by the university, or showing her the campus himself on Sunday. If I were in the man's shoes, I would personally prefer the second solution. To start with, this solution would be much better for his issue at hand because the man will have time to explain everything to his cousin. On the other hand, since the tour offered by the university is too general and doesn't provide any detailed information, it would be impractical to choose the other possible solution. Although he already made arrangements to go to a football game with his friends on Sunday, showing his cousin the campus on Sunday would still be better because getting detailed information is obviously very crucial for his cousin. Needless to say, from where I stand, the second solution is the much better choice. All right, that was a bit dangerous. I was once again pushing the envelope. You do not have to speak up until the alarm clock rings or up until the 60 seconds expires. It's much better to leave about 2 or 3 seconds on the clock when you're done saying everything you want to say. All right, so that was my sample response, guys. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Let's move on over to task 6. All right. Once again, look at the whiteboard, copy the note-taking diagram that you see. This is what you're going to be making on your piece of paper before the lecture for task 6 begins every single time. Okay, here's the lecture. Please get ready to take notes.
Listen to a lecture and take notes. You all saw the news about that huge forest fire out in the national park, didn't you? Yeah, it looks like hundreds of acres have burned to the ground. It's too bad, isn't it? Actually, it's not. No, I'm not kidding. I'm 100% serious. Contrary to common belief, fires can actually be very helpful to forests. There are several reasons why, so let me cover a few. First, some trees cannot spread their seeds without heat. For example, the pine cones, which are where the seeds are, of some pine trees will simply not open unless they are subjected to extreme heat. Also, redwoods, you know those giants in California, spread their seeds after forest fires too. Some trees actually need fire to enable their seeds to spread. Without the spreading of their seeds, there is no way for these trees to increase in numbers. So, one tree may die, but many more are born from its sacrifice. A second example is that forest fires actually help rejuvenate forests. When they burn trees and bushes to the ground, the fires often get rid of old, weak trees. Also, by burning the trees, the fires are providing the ground with nutrients. What then happens is that, a couple of years later, the places which the fire passed through are already full of new, young, strong plant life. Not only that, but the diversity of the forest also becomes greater immediately after a fire, as every tree and plant has an equal opportunity to thrive, since one species hasn't had enough time yet to crowd out the others.
Ah, really? I did not know this. Okay, so we indeed learn something new every single day, don't we? Alright, now, the professor in this lecture gave us some really obvious hints in the beginning. He said, no, I'm not kidding. Contrary to popular belief, those are all hints because it's an indicator that he's changing the subject. All right, now let's look at the beginning sentence. How fires can be helpful to forests. That's verbatim what the professor said. Now our beginning and ending sentences are completely organized. Let's take a look at the first section. Some trees cannot spread their seeds without heat. For example, pine cones do not open unless they are subjected to extreme heat, and redwoods can only spread their seeds after a fire. In other words, there is no way for these trees to increase in numbers without fires. Okay, now the second section. Forest fires also help to rejuvenate forests because they get rid of old trees and provide the ground with nutrients. Subsequently, forests become full of new and strong plant life, which means that the diversity of forests becomes greater after a fire. Okay, let me add that in there. Greater after a fire. Okay, now that we know once again exactly what to say, let's listen to my sample response. The professor gave a lecture about how fires can be very helpful to forests. To begin with, some trees actually cannot spread their seeds without heat. For example, pine cones do not open unless they are subjected to extreme heat, and redwoods can only spread their seeds after a fire. In other words, there is no way for these trees to increase in numbers without fires. On top of this, forest fires can also help to rejuvenate forests because they get rid of old trees and even provide the ground with lots of nutrients. Subsequently, forests become full of new and strong plant life, which means that the diversity of forests also becomes greater after a fire. In summation, this was how fires can be very helpful to forests, which was illustrated by pine cones and redwoods, given by the professor in the lecture. Okay. All right, now, in this lecture, the first section gave us two examples. That's exactly why I chose to say, which was illustrated by pine cones and redwoods. So sometimes, boys and girls, you don't even have to move over to the second section to fill in those two blanks. Do you understand what I mean? If you already have two examples in the first section, just use those two. If they come into your eyes when you look at the paper, if that's the first thing that jumps out to you, say those two. Don't feel bad about it. Okay? So those were my sample responses for the questions that I wanted to go over today. Once again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. If you're curious about my services, please contact me via Facebook or email. However, I prefer email because Facebook chat, when a lot of new people contact me, I don't really know how to respond on a timely basis because I'm not very familiar with that platform. So if you send me an email, at least I'll be able to know exactly who sent me it, when, and when he or she sent me it. And I'll definitely respond as soon as possible, okay? All right, I'll see you guys in the next video, which is going to be focusing on integrated writing. See you guys in the next one.